As you can see, Portable has been arrested. The petition against him from a Nigerian who has a studio. This guy wants to destroy the studio, and you see how that it was. Beat him, they beat him black and blue, and that was the basis of the petition in the first instance. Based on that, when you take impunity as one of the characteristics of being the celebrity, you will have law enforcement. It is not possible for somebody to become an island, somebody to be bigger than the law. And you see how that is worse. Based on that, letter was sent to him, not once, not twice, not 3 times. He refused to honor the invitation. When he refused to honor the invitation, police was sent to go and effect his arrest. And on getting there, they assaulted the officer that
he said that they want to edit so many things, and I'm not contented with that. Because I can't drag him to him, so I have to come to the decision and narrate what happened, then write petition against him. So that's what by the special grace of God, and by the special grace of and or by the power of police, everything.
Our parents, oh, I love visa. Calamari, you must transfer. I go by name Portable Molalomi, Wala musician, international musician, federal government liability, Omojoba ni mi. Ako Tinubu, ako APC. Now, faster. Sorry. Visa. Can I talk, mommy? I be ako police. Visa, police is our friend. Wala, I do meeting for living, removing Gao. Portable Molalomi, federal government liability, Omojoba. Ìjọba ló tọ́jú wa, ìjọba ló guide wa. Wàhálà wà ló àkọ́lé wàrà mọ́tò. Ọmọ náà wàhálà. Visa, police is our friend. I go by name. Portable Molalomi, federal government liability.
Clemens and I have a question. Can President Biden convince African leaders that America is a better partner than China? Let's get to the bottom line. This week, the White House hosts leaders from 49 African countries to try and convince them that their continent is a real priority for America. It's going to be a hard sell, since many Africans feel that Washington has treated them with a lot of benign neglect, more of a problem than an opportunity. A place that's full of precious minerals that we want, like lithium and cobalt, which America needs for its electric cars, but also a place loaded with security concerns and humanitarian crises and corruption. Meanwhile, Russia's kind of zoomed to the top as Africa's #1 weapons dealer, and China's trade with African countries has reached a record $261 billion last year. That's about 5 times more than the U.S. An African youth survey by Ichikovitz Family Foundation found that 77% of youth across the continent identified China as the most important nation for Africa's future, not the United States. Plus, China deals with whatever government is in place, no questions asked, while the U.S. cherry-picks its allies and offers lectures about democracy. So can the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit here in Washington, D.C. turn things around? And what can America offer that Africa really wants?
Russia has become a key ally to many African countries, and Putin has made significant strides in strengthening the relationship between the two regions. At the Russia-Africa and the Multipolar World Conference, Putin reiterated Russia's commitment to prioritizing cooperation with African nations, The cancellation of African debts is just one example of the bold steps Russia has taken to build a more productive and mutually beneficial relationship with the continent over the years. Putin has canceled more than $20 billion in debt owed by African countries. This debt had accumulated during the Soviet era. In the past, Russia had attempted to collect these debts, which were mainly a result of Moscow's previous alliances with African countries that supported its communist ideology. During this time, Russia provided military equipment and technical assistance to countries such as Angola, Algeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Namibia, Mozambique, Morocco, and South Africa, among others. As a result, many African nations found themselves heavily indebted to Russia, with official documents estimating the total amount at $20 billion.
On Thursday, the minister in the presidency was asked if South Africa will arrest Russian President Vladimir Putin. The International Criminal Court issued a warrant for Putin's arrest on war crimes. He is expected to visit South Africa for the BRICS summit in August, and as South Africa is a member of the ICC, the country is bound to arrest him. But the minister couldn't answer the question, saying that the cabinet is waiting on legal advice. Meanwhile, the Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, hosted the Russian Minister of Natural Resources and the Environment in Pretoria. Naledi Pandor and Alexander Kozlov co-chaired the 17th Joint Intergovernmental Committee for Trade and Economic Relations between the two countries.
You would see, Minister, that there's a great deal of media interest in our meeting, because there are some who don't wish us to have relations with an old historical friend. We have made it clear that Russia is a friend, and we've had cooperative partnerships for many, many years, including partnerships as we combated the apartheid regime.
Pandor also said she's looking forward to support from deliberations at BRICS and hopes to further cooperation between South Africa and Russia.
ICC, Putin is welcomed here, and no one is going to arrest Putin. If needs be, we'll go and fetch Putin from the airport to his meeting. He will finish all his meetings, we'll take him back to the airport. We're not going to be told by these hypocrites of the International Criminal Court, who know the real violators of human rights, who know the murderers of this world. That former Prime Minister of Tony Blair admitted that they made a horrible mistake when it comes to Saddam Hussein. They've not been charged today. Bush is still there. They've not been charged till to date. And then Obama killed Gaddafi. And then nothing has happened. We're here today with Libya being destroyed and unable to recover because of America. We know very well that where NATO gets involved, those are terrorists. We know very well where the US says we're going in to install peace. That place will never know peace as long as America has visited that place. So we don't want ICC's hypocrisy to apply here in our country. President Putin is welcomed. We know our friends. We know the people who liberated us. We know the people who supported us. In Kutoko-Naval, the weapons that were used in Kutoko-Naval that led to the liberation of South Africa were coming from Russia. Russia supplied us with weapons in Kutoko-Naval. Cuba supplied us with soldiers.
Military. Can you see? We are at the point of Nigeria. We don't know what is happening in Nigeria. Well, I don't know what is happening in Nigeria. You can see we have so many UN peace, UN vehicles in Nigeria. So in Benin City, Amolska, NT Benin City. So we don't, at this time of the night, this is to 10. So see where these armored vehicles are. So we don't know if Nigeria is on fire. we don't know. All this. Look at military officers there.
Any war coming soon.
We don't know if there's any war coming soon. Let us run, no. Let us run. This is UN. This is a UN peacekeeping vehicle. We don't know what is happening. Can you see it?
Demonstrators marched in South Africa's Cape Town this Friday against Uganda's draconian anti-gay law put in place last week. The proposed law is ready to be sent to President Yoweri Museveni, who is facing calls to reject it.
Colonization was enough. Apartheid was enough. We can't deal with this. Human beings need to be free from brainwashing strategies. They need to be free from unjust laws. So we are saying, as South Africans, stop the anti-homosexual bill.
Like what is happening right now in Uganda, whereby we have our people imprisoned in their own houses because of their sexuality. It angers me. It gets me so angry. It gets me so frustrated.
According to activists, if Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni gives his assent, anyone who engages in same-sex activity could face life imprisonment, while repeat offenders could be sentenced to death.
Kenyan opposition leader Raila Odinga has denounced an alleged assassination attempt on him during Thursday's anti-government demonstrations in Nairobi. Odinga on Friday said his car was shot at multiple times while he was driving around the capital rallying protesters. He showed journalists dents on his armored vehicle, which he said were left by bullets.
There is really no mistaking the fact that the intention was basically to kill. This was basically an attempt at my life, which is very, very unfortunate indeed. If this vehicle had not been an armored car, the story would be different.
2 escort cars also had their rear windscreens shattered. Inside the vehicles, the strong smell of tear gas was still present.